What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It is Phil Nagy. It is Kit Nagy. It is Nagy on Sports, and it is week number 15 with the Kansas City Chiefs headed to Cleveland, Ohio for the matchup with the Browns. Season not going the way we wanted to, but hopefully the sim can still be entertaining as we go with the full Jameis experience. Kit, how are we doing tonight?
Full Jameis experience indeed, as it has been rolling in Cleveland for a while now, and we've seen the ups, we've seen the downs. I'm certainly good, and looking forward to this one, even though it feels like this could be a massive blowout with the way our team has been playing and the way the Chiefs have been playing. However, it's one of the weird things about the NFL is you never discount a team.
Sure don't.
So we'll see how the Chiefs come out in this one, but certainly don't ever want to discount the talent on Cleveland. Now, obviously, you thought they had the talent to potentially make a Super Bowl run, which clearly they did not do, but doesn't mean they're not a high potential team.
Absolutely. Hey, Wendell, welcome in. Hey, Aaron Burr, welcome in. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off, jumping forward to the end of the game. Again, Phil Nagy, Kit Nagy, Nagy on Sports. Kickoff time here. And it looks like the Chiefs will be kicking off to the Browns. Here comes, I don't know who number 8. Who the heck is number 8? Oh, Elijah Moore. I was like, why is Elijah Moore returning kicks? Surprised me. Oh, thank you. I don't think that picture is new, but maybe you just saw it for the first time, Wendell. We appreciate that. Or do you mean the picture of Brandon Gotton and Charles Davis? I still haven't figured out how to superimpose an image of the two of us over top of it. I'm sure it can be done, though. All right, Jameis. He's going to start the game with a back-to-pass situation. He'll fire left side and caught right at the sideline by Elijah Moore for a short gain of 4.
Yeah, timing just slightly off on that. A little delayed. Lucky to get it through the defense there on that one. Does pick up some yardage.
2nd and 6 now for Winston. Now back to pass. Jameis stepping up in the pocket, and now he'll take off. 30 to 30. Well, won't get much further than that. Picks up maybe 2 before Drew Tranquil makes another tackle, and here comes the first third down of the game. They'll spread him out 5 wide. Winston now against the 4-man rush. Chris Jones right up the middle, and he beat Wyatt Teller, and that ends poorly for Jameis Winston, as we know how good Chris Jones can be, and the Browns will go 3 and out.
Well, we also know how much the Browns have struggled in third down situations. That no exception right there. That was exactly what we've seen a lot of this season from the Browns, just not able to get it done. Execution in particular on offense, silly mistakes, shooting themselves in the foot. This time not a penalty, but allowing the pressure through the middle does lead to that.
Does lead to it indeed. Pretty decent season for Pat Mahomes again in the simulated 12-and-run record that they have. That is a ridiculous set of statistics and significantly better than he's done in real life. But the most important one is the 12. They keep winning close and gross games. Here he is now. He's got motion from Noah Gray. One note for those of you Chief fans who might be watching is he'll complete the pass. Actually, it's going to pop out. Hicks dislodged it. For whatever reason, the game still thinks that Pacheco is on IR, and I cannot remove him from IR, so no Isaiah Pacheco in this game for you. You're going to get more of Kareem Hunt in the backfield, just so you know. Kelsey, a little motion. Mahomes quickly to the right side. That's his rookie receiver, Xavier Worthy. He is, yeah. It may be the end of an era, if you will, for the Jed Wills experience in Cleveland. I cannot imagine them bringing him back. Kit, what do you think?
No, I don't think they're probably likely to bring him back either, especially with the success they had with switching Jones over to the left side. Is a nice completion here. It's going to go to Kelsey. Or no, that's not even Kelsey.
Noah Gray.
Noah Gray, indeed. I thought I saw a 7 on there, but that was an 83. But nice big completion there for the tight end.
Yep, just a little out route there, and Worthy ran about 3 defenders off, and then apparently Noah Gray faster than the rest of the Browns defensive backfield. Hey, Kevin, welcome in. Go Browns. Yeah, I mean, obviously the draft is kind of a crapshoot. That draft, of course, remember Andrew Thomas, Mekhi Becton, and then Tristan Wirfs has been the all-pro, and they did start him at right, but have since moved him to left, and he's been just as good there. So you always are sort of like, well, we could have had that guy, but Wilson certainly was highly sought after, but definitely feels like they missed for whatever reason. It just could never get going here with any level of consistency over the middle and diving into the end zone. Juju Smith-Schuster, touchdown Chiefs. That was a pretty easy opening drive for them.
Yeah, it sure was. And you hit on the key word there. It's consistency for Jedrick Wills. His highs were actually probably as high, if not higher, than everybody else in that draft class in terms of his performance. But then, obviously he just couldn't sustain it with any level of consistency that we needed to see at the left tackle position. Now, I will say, of the four, he certainly, I would say, finished second best. Now that we've had a chance to look back at that draft and evaluate from a little bit of perspective, he was the second best choice out of that group. But just like quarterbacks, position that you're drafted to, team that you're drafted to, culture and everything else makes a big difference as well. So, it might well have been that Jedrick was a guy that needed to have a team that was winning, because he's one of those seems to shut down a little bit when the success is not as prevalent.
Yep, they'll definitely be. I mean, Conklin has played well, but he's obviously aging, and then we've got all kinds of things. Conklin's apparently playing left tackle here today, and then they moved Jerron Christian to right tackle. So who knows what's going on with this depth chart. And movement. Okay, I do appreciate everybody being on. Phil Nagy, Kit Nagy. Nagy on Sports is the channel only place on YouTube that you're going to find these simulated sporting events with live original commentary. Yep, you're right, Wendell. Maybe it'll be like that one last year. We can only hope they talk a bunch of smack before the game. They've got us all riled up. Third and very long here coming up for the Browns after a very short completion from Jameis Winston.
We'll say the only counterpoint to that, devil's argument, if you will, or the counter side to that point being losses at this point, especially now that we finally do have a first-round pick. Losses are one way of finding ourselves higher in that draft order, which allows for that higher value capital.
Absolutely.
So they're, I'm not cheering ever for the Browns to lose. Let's be frank about that. Let's just start with that right there, I suppose. But losses also at this point with a 3-win season are not the worst thing either.
No. Well, and I mean, yeah, the NFL is such an interesting. It's designed for everybody to go 8-8 or 9-8 or whatever at this point, but. You never. But that's like the worst thing that you can be is just mediocre. So it's like you either need to be making playoff runs or you need to be terrible so that you can restock. And it's not just
want to be stuck in the middle,
right? And it's not just a first-round pick; it's the second and the third and the fourth. Those are all higher, obviously, when you have a worse season. So at this point, if they ended up, especially now that it sounds like, based on the conversations he's made at the league meetings, that Stefanski and Barry are both safe. And that Haslam understands the gamble that Watson was and isn't willing to at least pin that fully on Stefanski and Andrew Berry, as Kit and I have said for a long time, that to blame the two of them for that would be, I think, unfair at the very least.
Yeah, disingenuous.
Yes, disingenuous. Good word for it. So it sounds like they're going to get to come back. So at that point, you might as well give them as many and as high of assets as possible. And if they don't win another game, and by the way, they play some good teams still.
Oh yeah.
Like the Chiefs here, the Dolphins with Tua back. I think they get the Bengals and the Ravens again. Something maybe Bengals. I don't remember. I think they definitely get the Bengals again. I can't remember if they played the Ravens twice already or not. So good teams still to come that are trying to make runs. So you get to play spoiler. Another throw to Noah Gray is having a very good first quarter here. Again, appreciate all 1,133 of our subscribers for being on. You guys are the best. And also continue to shout out longtime subscriber Kai Megas for the donation of this wonderful gaming PC, which has allowed us to have fun things like bouncing videos at the beginning. And Kit and I to be able to join seamlessly with our audio from anywhere on the planet.
That's right.
There's
and
Kelsey with an incompletion.
To fill out the statement we were talking about earlier, yes, we do still have both Cincinnati and Baltimore on our remaining schedule, both away games. One of them 2 weeks from now, and the last one is the final game of the season.
That's right.
The Ravens.
That's right, because next week we were supposed to be another Thursday nighter, and they flexed us out of it because us and the Bengals are kind of duty pants right now. Yeah. All right, Mahomes, he'll fire left side, open again. Juju Smith-Schuster beats MJ Emerson. I was a little surprised, and I watched the game. When did Greg Newsome get hurt? And they're like, IR'd him, like he's done for the year. I must have missed something.
Yeah, it was a hamstring injury.
Which is what he had at the beginning of the season too, right? He had a hammy at the beginning. Okay.
Yep. And he's kind of prone to those. He's, that's one of the knocks on him has been his ability to stay out there healthy, particularly soft tissue. And the hammy has been one of the things for him that has been at issue. Not surprising for that position. I mean, it is really easy to pull hammies with what they're having to do there. In those kind of positions to do man coverage in particular. Yep.
Quick throw to the right side. There's Kareem Hunt to the 10, to the 15, or excuse me, the 15, then the 10, and now near the 5. First and goal for the Chiefs as we trickle under 2 minutes here in this first quarter. Grant Delpit over there on the tackle. Should have the return of Mike Hall Jr. Excited to see him in the middle, and then both Batonio and the Chief are questionable. We'll see if we see them or not. Thornhill comes up and makes a tackle, as we saw in the Mahomes QB draw.
Now, I do think it's telling that they took him right to the IR, because hammies are interesting. They can take a little while to heal up, and yes, it could be 4 weeks, but it's not guaranteed. It can. This is going to be an easy scramble into the touchdown there for Mahomes. But it can heal as quickly as a week or two, depending on the severity of the injury. So the fact that they went straight to IR either means it was actually a serious hamstring injury, where they're expecting it to take at least the 4 weeks remaining in the calendar, or the other possibility is that they're looking at him as potential trade bait, and they're trying to preserve any health remaining on the season, so he's not at risk, right? Put him on the IR, so you're not exposing him, and then you can, especially since it's a hamstring injury, it's not like an ACL tear or something that you may not come back from fully the same.
Sure.
Especially like the Achilles, some of those kinds of things. Because of that, because it's just a hamstring, guys come back from hamstrings all the time. That's not uncommon. It's it's not a terrible injury. It just takes a while to heal up and be 100% from, right? And there's always a risk of re-injury with those. But the hamstring injury does not tend to cause teams to be alarmed in terms of is he going to re-injure that or something? Especially once you're 100%. Then your trade value, if you've protected him, your trade value for him is at peak value, right?
Good point. Go to the right side and almost intercepted. I will say I'm a little bit concerned about Tillman. This will be the third game in a row. He is still not cleared concussion protocol, which it's scary when they start to linger that long.
Yeah.
Winston, he'll dump it over the middle to the Chief. And that's how this first quarter is going to come to a close with another Browns 3 and out. Going backwards on play number 1 is not helping plays number 2 and 3 of each drive.
Certainly does not help, and that's the rhythm of the game. You really have to stay ahead of the sticks, as we talk about a lot on this channel, and that really was not what they did. Putting yourself in a hole to begin with always makes it that much harder to get yourself a consistent drive going. But back to Tillman. Again, I don't know the inner workings of how the Browns like to handle their injury stuff. They keep a lot of that very tight-lipped and close to the vest, if you will. But there is some potential. I know some teams do this, but there is some potential that the reason why Tillman hasn't come back is because, again, they're looking to preserve, because they may view him as hey, this is a guy that we think is going to develop into a really special piece for us in the future. Let's not risk him to injury. Let's just slow roll him back from this, just because it's an easy excuse to have him not be out there with the concussion protocol, and it may be that's why it's lingering as much as for just he needs the time.
Also an interesting thought. All right, 2nd and 3 now. Mahomes and the offense have had no trouble moving the football. There's another first down, and it's going to be Travis Kelce. Of course, lots of speculation now that her Eras tour is finally over. Maybe T. Swizzle will be in the house there on Sunday. Huntington Bank Field. 11:31 on this clock for Mahomes. He'll dump it left side and steps out of bounds. Hopkins, they'll say a 4-yard catch for DeAndre Hopkins.
Just squeezed it past MJ Emerson. I thought for a minute MJ was going to have a chance at that one.
Little motion from Kelce. Mahomes with good time over the middle. Caught again by Hopkins. Sets up a third. And one Jordan Hicks makes the tackle. On that one, they'll spread him out. 5 wide. Kelce in the slot on the right. Mahomes back to pass against the 4-man rush. He'll throw very quickly to a wide open Juju Smith-Schuster. Kind of that rub route where the outside guy goes deep and kind of pushes everybody back, and Smith-Schuster makes a little out route underneath it. Easy catch there. Hey, Jim, welcome in, man. Back to pass Mahomes again. Finally, Miles breaks through. Good tackle by Delpit to push Kelce out. Very, very little pass rush on Mahomes right now, and that's a recipe for a long day. Mahomes identifying defenders. Kareem Hunt goes in a big orbit motion to the left side. Mahomes quickly fired right side. Slant again. Juju Smith-Schuster first down. Just kind of dinking and dunking their way down the field, but they are moving the sticks. Mahomes again. Motion coming from Travis Kelce. Now he'll come back the other way. Nobody follows him. Maybe some zone coverage. And they see the zone and throw it short again. Short gain, 7 yards. First down now just 3 yards away for the Chiefs. Interesting game plan so far for Kansas City, but it's working. It's that similar motion from Kelce. Back to pass. Mahomes fires it. Right side. Caught. Oh, whoa! Look at that thing get knocked out about 30 yards. Ward punched that thing out of there. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he caught. Maybe his knee coming up or something, but it got a lot of rebound, didn't it?
It sure did. Over the middle, it almost picked off by Delpit. They'll hold at the 33. Delpit reminding everybody that it is 4th down, and looks like Butker will come in to attempt a 50-yard field goal. So I suppose that's an improvement for the Browns defense here, giving up just 3 instead of 7. Carson Wentz. I always forget that he is the backup in Kansas City right now. 17-0 here. We're halfway through quarter number 2. Phil Nagy, Kit Nagy on Sports here joining you. Appreciate everybody being on. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button as well as it continues to grow our audience. We've said it many times already this season. The lack of success for the Browns in real life has hurt the viewership of the channel. Good thing neither of us are trying to feed our families with your streams right now, because it's been a bleak year for Nagy on Sports. But hopefully it should make for a very fun offseason, because we're going to get to make a lot of decisions. Elijah Moore, watch out. Here's one decision. Do you extend him 30, 20, 15, 10, 5? Touchdown! 73 yards. Elijah Moore, house call.
Yeah, that one was absolutely fun. Love seeing that one there. He just creates enough space out there and then turns on the jets as you see him beautifully placed ball by Winston. That's one of the things about Winston, though, is like when he's on, he's on. I mean, it's just magic. And then when he's off, it's like, what happened?
He is exactly who he is. He is so consistent. It is unbelievable how he is just truly Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep.
I mean, the Broncos game is like the perfect microcosm, right? I mean, essentially 500 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2 of them were pick sixes, and the third one was in the end zone to take away points off the board. Like, just absolutely crippling mistakes and breathtaking displays of quarterback prowess. Watch out! Here comes Worthy. He can fly, and he's going to go right the other way. A kick return for a touchdown. Bubba Ventrone, work on that resume. We know Worthy can fly, set the record at the Combine this year, and he was gone, untouched.
Yeah, he sure was untouched. Beautifully blocked up front there on the new kickoff rule. And You know, it's one of the things about the kickoff they wanted to try to get was more explosive plays. With the fact that they're that much closer, the opportunity to just break that one. It's really only one line, right? Good blocks up front. You only have to beat one or two guys, and you're gone. They do so right there, and you know, this is why we can't have nice things as the Chiefs respond immediately.
We weren't even finished talking about the nice thing that we had, and then we can't even celebrate it. Sucks the air right back out of us.
That's right.
This is Browns Fan 101. Or as somebody posted in the Discord channel, there's a t-shirt going around with a 1 out of 5-star rating. Do not recommend being a Browns fan. Okay, well, maybe Elijah Moore's got a little bit more magic left. But as we were mentioning, mid-run, he will be one of those decisions. I believe he's going to be a free agent after this year, and that is a reason that they have gone. Oof, as he almost throws a pick right there. Have stepped with Winston is to get an evaluation on Judy. Obviously, I think he's a keeper and can lock down that room. And that extension that they did for him is looking like a steal. And certainly in a year or two, when you have, you know, these $25 to $30 million a year receivers, and what is he, like 15, 16 a year right now? So that deal looks like it could be a very, very good one to lead this room.
Yep. No, and back to your question about Moore, one of the decisions. I think that one kind of depends. I don't think they dislike what Moore gives them. He gives them that kind of consistent presence that is able to make some catches for you, get himself some space. He's not your number one guy, obviously. That's definitely been taken over by Judy, as we've seen. But I think the question on Moore is going to come down to, well, what happens? What do they think of Cedric Tillman?
Yes.
What do they? You know, if they are protecting him, I think that might be the answer. And Moore is probably walking. If that's not why he's not out of the concussion protocol, it's actually injury related, then unknown, right? The other question is, what do they do in the draft? When do they get a receiver? Do they get a receiver? If they go high in the draft on the receiver position, it's very possible that Moore is no longer with the Browns. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch, though. For
That's true. That'll be interesting to see if they draft a receiver, what body type, what type of receiver will they be drafting?
Yes, that too.
All of which we'll get to here in a few short weeks on the channel. We'll go through our virtual off-season as we always do, and a great time for you to hop on the Discord with us, because we will put up some poll questions. Especially because we get to make it up, and so we can decide how aggressive you want to be, how much do we want to blow it up. Do you want to trade Miles? Do you want to trade Chief? Do you want to trade Denzel? Do you want to trade et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So we'll see how it goes.
And that is a good point on Woods. Woods has been an interest, because if you remember back, there was a period of time where it looked like maybe Woods never took another snap for the Browns, right?
Well, there was like a gun incident, right, in the offseason. He missed all of last year, right?
Yeah, he missed well, he was injured. I don't know if it was gun related or not. I don't remember what it was, but it was an injury, I thought. But yeah, he certainly missed an entire year and then wasn't with the team for a while. But they brought him back and has since been, you know, kind of what we were hoping he could be. A presence certainly felt, even more than, you know, your Jamari Thrasher or some of those other guys out there. He's been a little bit more present, making some plays and in moments where, you know, it's been fun to see, and certainly nice little comeback story from him, considering the situation he had been through.
Butker's going to pull this 58-yarder left, so the Browns will get decent field position. And yes, Wendell, David Bell hurt himself earlier in the season. He's been on IR, season-ending IR for, I don't know, maybe week 4, week 5, something along those lines. Here's Chubb up the middle, his best run so far of 5. Hey, Bang with Smoke, welcome in. We are well. 11 personnel, as we are wont to see from Cleveland often. I'd like to see them get back to a little bit more. Here's Chubb, right side to the 40, to the 35, to the 30. Best run of the day for Nick Chubb. Now 4 carries, 20 yards for 24, and maybe with another full offseason of healing, he can get back to where he was. But we know that these running backs do have quick clocks on them. They're just at some point their bodies break down. Father Time is undefeated, and so you wonder if a running back could be part of the draft class as well.
It's very possible.
Winston overthrows the head of David Njoku. Actually looked like it was actually Chubb out of the backfield going against the rookie Jaden Hicks. Hicks we had on our pre-draft sim version of the Browns when I did the drafting. 3-step drop for Winston. Left side throw. Caught by Judy. First time we've called number 3's name. Joshua Williams brings him down right away, and Judy just a little sluggish to get up. 3rd and 3.
Yeah, every once in a while we get it right around here on the channel.
That's right. Left side throw. Thrown to Chief, and he's got a first down. So giving the Chiefs a little bit of their own medicine with the dink and dunk right now, but it is working. Only issue would be that clock, which has just run under 1 minute to go here in the first half.
Yeah, Jim, I do think that is a very promising room. A lot of potential. Obviously, we've got to develop some of those guys, bring them along.
For sure.
Woods, Thresh, Tillman still needs some development. Judy obviously has kind of flourished into the role we need him to be in that number 1 position, which has been great. It's been really good to see that, but certainly a lot of promise. I agree that could be an excellent room if they get the development we need out of those guys to build the consistency.
Yeah, maybe throw a rookie in there. You still have David Bell on a rookie deal as well. Browns do call timeout after Jameis takes his 3rd sack of the half. And a quick throw to the Chief. Very, very short yardage. 3rd and 17 coming up for the Browns. I wouldn't have called that timeout, actually, but it's just me. Back to pass. Blitz coming. They pick it up. Winston, left side throw. And it's caught by the Chief. Broken tackle at the 15 to the 10. Does he have a first down? He does! 1st and goal at the 5. How about that run after the catch for David Njoku?
Yeah, it was pretty... certainly what you're looking for from your big tight end, getting those extra yards. They choose not to take the final timeout here. 1 snap with the 1st and goal.
Which is going to be helpful because he's going to throw it backwards to Chubb at the 10, and Chubb at least gets out of bounds at the 7. Dangerous play there. Chamari Connor, the one to bring him to the ground.
Well, good news is he got out of bounds and stopped the clock with 8 seconds, so you still have an opportunity to preserve the field goal with that timeout. But interesting choice here. Yep. We'll see what they do.
Winston standing in the pocket. Left side, thrown, touchdown! It's the 2nd one for Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore heard us talking about him, whether or not he had a role here going forward. He's trying to prove us wrong here in the sim. Although I don't know. It is possible they keep Moore. It's not that he is something. It's not that he doesn't have the potential to be that guy. He's just, it really depends. What do they think of the other guys? Who are they bringing in the draft? Is there a role for him in going forward? That's kind of a question mark.
And what kind of money does he feel like he's worth?
Right. That also.
If he's going to, again, I don't think he's going to want Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson money, but if he's trying to get 12 to 15 a year, the Browns might be like, we'll give you 6. If you can find better, go find somewhere else.
Right. Well, and, obviously with their limitations based on the cap, there's going to be some of that for a while.
Absolutely.
We have to get past the giant windfall, or the boat anchor, really, that is the Deshaun Watson trade. And until we're past that, there is going to be some forced rationing, if you will, and it's gonna suck. It's not going to be fun.
Well, dare I say, a good end of half drive there from the Browns, scoring with just 5 seconds left. The deficit is 10. Certainly feels like it was much more Chiefs during that first half. The long touchdown to Moore, and then a good end of half drive. Let's see if any of that momentum can spill over into half number 2. Again, Phil Nagy, Kit Nagy on sports, and this time the Browns are able to make that tackle. Hopkins is actually the one who gets in the tackle there. Mahomes, pretty good first half, 216 yards, 22 completions, 1 touchdown, and he'll step up to the line. About 100 more yards of offense for the Browns, or for the Chiefs over the Browns, rather. Here's a quick throw, slant again, and tackled immediately by Denzel Ward. Again, if there's anybody who can do it, I trust Andrew Berry just about as much as anybody in terms of the managing of contracts and cap, and even, the whole, they're going to roll over $35 million of cap space from this year to next year. All of those things are very intentional, and he manipulates it just about better than anybody else in the league. So is it going to be crippling? Yes, but maybe not like we know we're going to suck for 3 years while we get out underneath that umbrella.
Well, what it will guarantee you they knew this was a possibility. They planned for this to be a possibility, and they have this contingency plan in place that they're now going to operate under with the understanding that there was always a chance that this could have happened, and it did. So because it happened, they're now going to be doing some things that they had built themselves some room to be able to do. If they had gone in without a plan, that would have been silly, but they definitely have a plan. I can promise you that. And then the other part of that, as they're going forward, is that a good team, or really a good front office, a good leadership group, is going to look to capitalize on their seasons they know are not going to be winning seasons. If they know they're not in a window right now, because effectively losing out on the Deshaun Watson bet effectively takes you out of the window immediately, as we've seen. That's what happened. I mean, that's why we're 3-10 right now. But that does not mean they're not actively looking how to get themselves right back into a window. That's this time for development. It's time for good drafting. It's time for smart free agency, moving on from guys you can't afford that aren't going to be in that window because they're a little bit on the older side. Try to get a little bit younger on the roster. All kinds of moves along those directions to try to make sure that you capitalize when that next window opens up, hopefully with the drafting of a great quarterback or finding a guy that can be the guy.
Yes, they're definitely a little top-heavy right now in terms of age and contracts.
Yep, and you better believe they're going to start working to shift that very heavily the other way.
Yep, absolutely. So the Browns, unfortunately, will struggle and punt it away. Well, in Wendell, we don't know, I guess, and that's the whole point. That's why I have said basically since the bye week and you knew you were out of it that what's the harm in playing DTR for the last 6-8 games of the year? Give him a game plan. Give him all the reps and see what the kid can do. Because he's at least the only guy that's currently on the payroll who could potentially be that bridge to Arch Manning or whoever if Mason's pipe dream comes true. Because I'm not sure they're going to pay Watson. And B, I don't even think they could afford him Winston, that they could even afford him if he wanted to come back. I mean, he's playing for a cheap prove-it deal this year. I don't think he's going to come back for another cheap prove-it deal.
No, he's it's not going to be Winston going forward. DTR, they're probably going to play next year, I would guess, unless they draft a guy they want to try to see if he's maybe a guy that could develop this year. But I don't think it's going to be a Winston. If they do bring in a veteran quarterback to be the starter,
Sam Darnold seems to be the hot name on the street. So
very cheap deal, somebody that they can take, kind of like they did with Winston, just a prove-it deal on and have a nice cheap contract under contract, somebody who's going to be steady for them. But at the end of the day, it's not about this season and the quarterback. And DTR, what's interesting about DTR, the reason, because I agree with you to the extent that if they wanted to see what they had in DTR, they'd be playing them right now. But the fact that they're not playing him right now tells you a little bit about what they think of him. I think that potentially means they view him as a good backup while on a rookie deal type guy. They may not even bring him back after the rookie deal. They might, but just because he knows the system. But if they can get him for relatively inexpensive, but they also might choose to just let him walk.
Yep.
But the fact they're not looking to put him out there in these situations right now, I don't think they view him as the future, which means they're going to have to look elsewhere for their guy of the future, which may be in a draft or potentially in another trade or some other way. But remember, franchise quarterbacks, the reason why they took that shot, franchise quarterbacks don't come up on the market, ever. This almost never happens. Right. And when they do, there's a reason they've come up on the market, and we've seen a couple of times where that has not worked out in recent history with both Aaron Rodgers and Watson. Yep,
absolutely. Welcome in 1985. Welcome in, Earl Go Browns. I like Gabriel. I think he's really accurate. We've seen Bo Nix start slow but start to have some real success, and he basically went to the Dan Lanning quarterback finishing school at Oregon 1 year prior to Dylan Gabriel. He's not a huge body, so I worry about a little bit about some longevity, but I also don't think that you're going to have to take him in the first round. I haven't done a bunch of mock drafting yet, but I don't think that he's considered one of those first round guys like Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders, Carson Beck. So maybe. It could be a decent fit, at least something that they can try. to me, I think you just need to find the right guy for Stefanski's offense, which is sort of a significantly younger version of Joe Flacco, right? We saw it really thrive last year. Somebody who can run that play action, who makes the right read. Hey, it's there, put it on, bang. Or, nope, it's not, make a good choice, and we're going to get another touchdown here to Kelsey for the Chiefs. So I don't know what that ideal quarterback makeup is, but somebody who can run that offense, he doesn't have to be the best human being quarterback on the planet. I mean, you don't need Pat. I mean, you could have Pat Mahomes, but you don't need him to run this offense because of how well Stefanski can scheme it up. Or if Mason's in charge, you keep tanking for 2 more seasons, and then in 2027 you take Arch Manning and you try to succeed at that point.
Right, but and that's an interesting discussion, even because, you know, first of all, it's never a guarantee. I don't care if his name is Manning or not. It's just
absolutely
not a guarantee.
Well, frankly, we haven't even seen him start yet. I mean, he's not going to start until next year.
Yep. And you know, it's hard to know any of that, especially with a guy that, you know, has barely played in college, let alone you know, at the NFL level. No matter what his last name is. Now, the fact that he's coming from that family with you know, kind of a quarterback history in their blood certainly makes you think he's got potential, or a higher ceiling potential, but certainly not a guarantee. And then, you know, to be able to hold the team in a good position, open a window for 2 years from now is a difficult thing to do. Yes, you can cycle roster, get younger, rework contracts. Know you're going to be, you know, kind of behind the 8 ball and getting higher draft picks as a result of not having great seasons for doing all of that. Kind of what we saw with the Browns. Trying to get better is what a shot that was out to the outside. That was pretty.
Into the end zone. Jamari Thrash, let's go.
There he is. We were just talking about him. That was pretty. I thought for a minute he was going to get tackled. Then sure enough, he broke the tackle. Nice play from number 80.
Indeed. Well, and I mean, it's one thing for us to be able to be like, yeah, let's just sit around until 2027. It's much harder to get a room full of pros and even your whole front office and your owner to sign off and like, listen, we're just going to really suck for 2 more years, accumulate as many assets as we can so that even if we don't have the first pick, we'll trade a bunch of stuff to get the first pick, you know. So, well, I mean, it's hard to get. Would you get Myles Garrett to sign off on that? You know, like, hey, when you're 30, we're going to get Arch Manning and it's going to be great. But 2 more years is going to be stinky, you know. I don't know.
There's a lot of factors to that. You got to remember, these guys are professionals. They want to succeed. They're going to look to they want to have stats. They want to be on a good team. They want to win. It's not like they're going to, you know, just willingly go into oblivion of it's going to suck for a while, and you're just going to put up with it. I mean, there's a lot of factors to that. You know, plus coaches don't want to do that either, because at the end of the day, you know, there's going to be rising pressure. I mean,
for sure,
as the heat seat continues to get warmer, as they talk about, you know, there's lots of reasons why that really doesn't work very well that way. And plus, you know, just because you get a quarterback doesn't mean you can just automatically. Quarterback isn't everything. It is a lot. It's the most important position in all of sports, I would argue, but it certainly is not the entire team. If you don't have a good foundation around the quarterback, we've seen quarterbacks that potentially had the chops to be all of that get ruined by being drafted to bad teams, right?
Absolutely.
Browns being one of them, right? We've seen multiple times where quarterbacks that potentially could have been way better than they actually were got drafted in a bad situation to Cleveland and turned into nothing.
Yep, Kevin's right on there with the Tim Couch reference, and that's why people are like, I can't believe we didn't take Lamar Jackson. I can't believe we didn't take Josh Allen. It's like, man, I'm pretty sure that Freddie Kitchens probably would have ruined Josh Allen, and he wouldn't be Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I feel much better about this situation, and again, other than DTR, Stefanski hasn't really gotten to draft and develop his guy yet, you know, and maybe this year he gets to do that. I don't know.
We'll see.
We will see indeed. But yeah, going back in the chat a little bit, yeah, Earl, he will be just a junior next year. That's 3 years, and he could come out. But I guess he's been very adamant about the fact that he wants to play all 4 years and get his degree. And and all of those things. And yeah, clearly the family doesn't need money, and he's getting a massive NIL bag, so there's no like financial incentive for him to go into the draft next year.
Well, I know just having heard some interviews, his grandfather's pushing pretty hard for him to stay all the way through. So
sure.
I expect, and I don't know that he'll do that, but you know, if his grandfather's not the only the only one pushing for that, there's a good chance he's probably going to bow to the family wisdom of, hey, you probably should stick around
of his namesake, yes, the person he was named after.
Right. Probably wise to listen to him. That doesn't mean he will, but there certainly is at least pressure there to try to stay home.
Well, and even just a 1 year, like I think it's even easier to sell the team and the fan base if you're just like, listen, we love some of the pieces in the 2026 draft. We're going to tank in 2025. Hang with us. But 2 years is such a. I mean, again, nobody's ever going to come out and say that, but they could come out. They could come out and say it with the right kind of window dressing. But it's just a hard ask for anybody. Again, especially the guys in the room and people whose future paydays are based on how they play. And so anyway, we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll know this year. If they do take a Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders or a Carson Beck or somebody in the first round, then they must feel like, hey, it's a rookie deal is still something we can manage. It's predictable if we can get this guy, and then right about the time that he's ready to take that year 3 step as a starter, we'll be able to dump the Watson contract from the books and surround him with a bunch of talent. So who knows? Who knows? All right, back to pass here, Mahomes. We'll get back to the Simmon. They're getting ready to set themselves up to extend this to could be a 3 or a 2-score game here. Further a 2-score game, I guess. Back to pass over the middle and tackled right at the 1. Thornhill, a little one-on-one crime. And Xavier Worthy's had a solid day again with that kick return earlier in this one. Again, do appreciate everybody being on. Phil Nagy, Kit Nagy. Nagy on Sports is the channel. You have been grinding through our official in-season Brown sim, and Worthy's going to get into the end zone here again. And that's a touchdown for the Chiefs, and that's going to make it a 3-score lead for them, assuming that Butker puts it through. But we do appreciate everybody being on. If you want to take your Nagy Nation fandom to the next level, you can join us on Discord, which is free and easy to use. Just use the invitation link in the description of this or any of our other videos. And you can chat with Kit and I between sims, the rest of Nagy Nation, vote on different things in our off-season, and find out in advance of when we are simming. And that's, Earl, that's something that I have been worried about too. After, maybe a month or so ago, you started seeing some Shedeur Sanders like in Browns uniforms memes going around, and I can definitely see his kids saying, you ain't going to Cleveland, Eli Manning style. So we'll see. There are a lot of rumors about him to the Raiders. Raiders, I think, right now have the number 1 pick, or it's a coin toss or something between them and the Giants right now. So both of which are going to need quarterbacks. So I think Dion wants his kid. A screen pass. Holy smokes! And it goes for a first down. Wow. Golf clap for that one.
Yeah. Some success. And something we don't see a lot of success in.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Wendell. I mean, he'll be a hot name every year just because he's polarizing. I think he's a decent football coach, but I'm not sure. And then Jameis puts it right on the turf, and Mike Dana's going to pick it up. And the Chiefs have the ball inside the 30-yard line. Yuck. Well, Jim, the kid from the quarterback that was committed to LSU for a long time, Michigan paid him $12.5 million to come to Michigan because they needed a quarterback so badly. Just wild to me.
Yep.
If you remember the number floating around, Ohio State paid $20 million in NIL for their roster this year. They're paying that one kid $12.5. It's nuts. He better be good. That's all. That's all I'm saying. If I'm the one ponying up that money.
All right.
Mahomes quickly to the right side. Uh-oh, kind of came back, and Ward got overextended and into the end zone. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, really poor pursuit angle there from Ward. That's unlike him. He makes those tackles 10 times out of 10. That's not something he's likely to do.
And this one has started to get off the rails, much as we predicted. And a ill-timed Winston turnover helping to aid and abet that, but right now doubling them up 44-21 with the kick coming. Browns will fall to 3-11. Chiefs will go to 13-1. Well, no, that's a good question. Probably not. Probably not tonight with a college football sim, but I will try to get. Well, we have all the way through next weekend to get them done, so trying to pace them out. It will be our Ohio State sim next, though. And thrown to the ground. Feels like it's been an eternity since we last saw Ohio State play football.
Yeah.
Especially their brand of football instead of whatever weird Ryan Day, I must prove I'm tough to Jim Harbaugh, run it up the middle regardless of the outcome. Another screen, left side, Chip, still a little hurdle move. Broken tackle, 40, 45, Chubb to the 50, and he goes down at the 47.
Did they patch the screen? What happened?
Well, no, I started the game as the Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
I did the old try from the other team to see if it would be any different.
Well, that's why it's working. Of course it's working. We're not controlling it.
I know it doesn't give me the coach mode opportunity though, unless we want to mess it up for the Chiefs. It also doesn't let me pick the jersey, so I don't know if this is the jersey we're wearing or not. Spin move to Thrash. Thrash with a long touchdown today.
Oh, the limitations. That shouldn't be limitations.
I know. Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, we'll see. When we get into the offseason, too, I'll start playing with a little bit of some modding and see what we can do. Maybe somebody's fixed the gameplay.
Yeah.
We can only hope. Winston right side. Caught by Thrash for a first down. Remember, they liked Thrash for his route running, and I think we've seen some of that. Tillman, of course, the big body. Judy does it all. So I wonder if... if maybe more of like a traditional slot receiver, just lightning quick, kind of a player is maybe somebody that they're looking for in the draft. Jim, it's an interesting question, and I'm going to say no for now, only because I think Ryan Day is a good CEO. I think he runs the program well, and just for whatever reason, when he sees that team on the other side called Michigan, he just turtles and goes into this really weird version of himself as Chiefs going to get into the end zone. That's just not him. And I think he hijacked the play calling from Chip Kelly, and to his own demise, it did not go well. I also am pretty good friends with a Titans fan who watched Mike Vrabel be a coach for a long time, and he is a hard no on that. So I guess I trust his opinion more. I think the idea that you have to have an Ohio guy who understands the rivalry is rubbish, frankly, especially in the new era, because as far as I'm concerned, the college football playoff is now the most important thing, and you could play Michigan 3 times in the same season. Like, you could play them 3 times in 6 weeks, and so which time should it matter when you beat them? I would say... probably the last time, like whichever one leads to the national championship. So, as I've said a little bit before, like I think the importance of the game in caps is not nearly as much as it once was, because as we saw this year, it doesn't matter. Ohio State still got to go to the playoff, and you know what? Michigan was 7-5 and is going to the Who Cares Bowl. So, but I actually saw people who would have rather have those roles reversed. Like, well, as long as we would have beaten Michigan, I don't care if we were 7-5. I'm like, really? I don't know if you would actually say that. Like, this is just a new era, and so it's just not as important to beat them that time. So,
right? No, I agree. And ultimately, if you ever see Michigan in the college playoff, that's where you really want that win,
correct?
Right? Because that's the one that leads potentially to the national championship.
Which is why when they lost to Oregon by 1 on the road in heartbreaking fashion, I was actually okay with it, because we're going to have to play Oregon again.
Yep.
And it's if we win against Tennessee next weekend, we get to play Oregon again. And so
and it's always harder to win the
Correct.
second time when you win the first time.
Correct.
When you go and play a team that beats you, you just come in with that edge. There's that chip on your
Correct.
shoulder, and something about it, it just is so, especially when you're that closely matched. It is so hard to win twice. So to have that, it's actually an advantage for us, assuming we get to that game.
Yes.
Which, I would hope that Ryan Day is smart enough to go about it and the right way and let Chip Kelly call the plays and get out of the way.
Remember that he has 3 of the best receivers on the planet on his team. Yes.
Right, and the key part of all of this, I think, is that really Ryan Day's future and kind of the future direction, if we go and have a guy like Vrabel or maybe somebody else come in to replace him, really is going to hinge on what happens in these playoffs. If they bounce in an ugly fashion and it's like we saw in the Michigan game for some reason, I don't think Ryan Day stays. I mean, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
if Ryan Day goes and beats, wins twice, he goes and beats Oregon in that second game, and then has an opportunity. Whether or not he wins it all or not is not as important at that point. He's probably staying.
Yeah. So there are 2 parts to this, and then we'll get to the stats here as the Chiefs are about ready to run the clock out. One of those is obviously there's the financial piece which has come out, which is essentially it's about $100 million to get rid of, to buy out this whole coaching staff, including Ryan Day. And albeit Ohio State has lots of money, I don't know if they just want to roll out $100 million to get a new staff. Especially because it means you're losing people like Brian Hartline and Tim Walton and James Laurinaitis and Larry Johnson. Like you're losing those guys as well. And then the other part of it is, as you keep throwing names out here, Jim, like I don't think Luke Fickell's a better coach than Ryan. Like I haven't seen unless you think you're going to go get Dan Lanning to leave Oregon or Kirby Smart to leave Georgia, or Nick Saban or something, like you're not going to go. I just don't think there are that many glaringly obvious better choices out there. So
well, and let's just focus on the wide receivers. Look at the ridiculous string of wide receivers that have all been developed by Brian Hartline. Ever since Hartline came in, he changed that position group for the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes had been a terrible wide receiver. Really since when was the last time we had awesome wide receivers?
Yeah, they've had a decent guy here or there, but yeah.
Right, but it's never been like every single one of them is a first-round talent all the way through.
Correct.
And it's and you go and watch them in the NFL, and yep, that dude's a stud. Yep, that dude's a stud. No matter what team they go to, every single one of them has had massive success in the NFL.
Yep.
And it's because Brian Hartline has come in and made those guys into the talent that shaped them, molded them into the talents that they could become, rather than just because you can have a talent all day, right? But if you don't have a guy to mold you, bring you along, bring you to your potential, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. He gets them and then he makes them. And for every Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 player in the country, who is also getting developed and is going to be incredibly good, Chris Olave was a 3-star, and he got developed just as well and was also a first-round pick. So anyway. And
remember, the introduction to Olave was a giant touchdown pass. We had that. He's just like, who's this guy? I've never even heard of him, right?
They were out there scouting C.J. Stroud, and they're like, who's that little guy that's getting thrown to? And the rest is history, so they say. All right, quickly our stats today. Mahomes 40 of 46 for 355, 4 touchdowns. That will play. Pretty good day for him. Kareem Hunt 12 for 67, Mahomes 3 for 25 and the touchdown. A couple carries for P. Ryan at the end of the game. Smith-Schuster day 12 for 101 and 2 touchdowns. Hopkins 8 for 74. Travis Kelce 7 for 38 and a touchdown. Noah Gray 5 for 95. Xavier Worthy 5 for 26 and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt with 3 quick catches out of the backfield as well. Leading tackler had 6 tackles. That's how many plays the Browns didn't run on offense. Yikes. Connor, Tranquil, and Bolton combining for that. Sacks today, 1.5 for Karlaftis, Wharton, Bolton, and the half for Chris Jones. No picks, but again, the fumble from Jameis Winston did lead immediately to a touchdown. He was 21 of 24. How about them apples for $299 and 4 touchdowns? He actually was very good. They just couldn't stop Mahomes. which is wild to think about. Chubb couldn't get going, 7 of 26, and then they were so far behind it didn't matter. 7 for 73 and a touchdown for the Chief, 5 for 38 out of the backfield for Chubb, 4 for 89 and 2 touchdowns for Elijah Moore, 4 for 92 and a touchdown for Thrash. Look at that, long of 73, long of 73. How about Jerry Jeudy, just 1 catch for 7 yards? That's not going to get it done.
Oh.
Browns on defense, 12 tackles for Cam Mitchell, who I think, if healthy, is the likely candidate to move into the slot for Greg Newsome. 11 for MJ Emerson, Ward with 10, Diabate with 10 as well. Sacks today, just 1 for Jordan Hicks, and again, no turnovers of a virtually perfect Pat Mahomes in this one. Well, Kid, anything else to wrap up the Browns sim?
No, I mean, I think this pretty much is relatively in line with what we expect the game to go like, other than maybe a little bit more of a Jekyll and Hyde scenario from one Jameis Winston.
It was very Jekyll-y today, yes.
But I expect probably at least 1 interception, not 4 touchdowns without any. But yeah, certainly Browns for being Browns out there. Defense not looking great, and Chiefs doing Chiefs things.
Yes, they did. All right, guys, this one was a lot of fun. Despite it, good to have some good conversation. Good to have some of the OGs on with us. We appreciate you guys. For Kit out on the left coast, I'm Phil here in Central Ohio. We are Nagy on Sports. Again, thanks so much to all of our subscribers. You guys truly are the best. Enjoy the weekend of the games. You can chat with us during the Real Browns game on Sunday on our Discord channel. Otherwise, we will see you again next time. Today we will say go Chiefs, and as always, go Browns!